Hey everyone, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene and I am with A Room to Bloom. I just realized I have to quickly check the volume. Okay, I think we're doing a little bit better with that. But anyway, so yesterday or the other day, I released a video called The Backup Plan. And it was interesting. Today, the words came to me, the last resort. But so it's really interesting. It feels as if someone has been considering their backup plans, but now they might be feeling like something is a last resort. Um, you know, it's quite interesting why this information is coming up, but I just want to put that out there. Are you in a situation where you feel like you've had whatever plan A, B, or C, and A hasn't been working out for you, B hasn't been working out for you, maybe so now, is C the last resort? I don't know. It's interesting. Sometimes what we think is the backup plan, there's a reason plan A or B didn't work out. And it's interesting when we take that letter C, right? Think of care for yourself. Maybe you've been really pushing yourself really hard in a particular direction. Whether that's been building a business, building stuff, building something, creating something, but to a point of your own demise, if you will, right? To where you're exhausted or where you've just been pushing everything to the nth degree, right? And then maybe plan B looks like you're stepping back a little bit, making some shifts a little bit. And you've done that. But for whatever reason, plan B isn't working. So now you feel forced to move into plan C. But again, maybe plan B didn't work out because God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Meaning, if you went from plan A to plan C, it might have been felt like really, really overwhelming. So plan B is like this, it's like a platform. Um, it's like a platform or a landing place. Maybe you've been trying to strive to get to plan A, or you've been working on plan A for a really long time, but it can be overwhelming. It just depends on the situation and the circumstances. So plan B might be God's way of saying, hey, it's time for a rest. We're gonna step into plan C. C, care for yourself. C, care, comfort, creation, right? Careful consideration of what's next. Jesus talks about, come to me for all of you who are heavily laden. Come to me and rest, right? Plan C might not have been on, it might not have been where you were looking, but it might be where you need to go. It might be where you need to be to get that true restoration. And interesting that I use the words last resort, right? So think of plan C can actually be what might feel like a last resort, but actually be a place of comfort, a place of true healing, a place of self-care, a place of again creating, because it is when we take some time, and it is in like the plan C where we're like, yeah, maybe plan A, I was really pushing myself, not only pushing myself, pushing others, pushing, wanting results to be a certain way. It was as if you were paddling upriver for a really long time. And plan B might have been to get a small helper motor to keep going in that direction. But plan C might look like, I'm just like gonna not fill that gas thing up, and I'm just going to let this boat kind of afloat where it goes, and I'm going to stop fighting the current. Plan C, um, it's like surrender, surrendering to what is. It doesn't mean giving up everything forever. It means asking to be led to what you are being shown but haven't been you've been too busy to see, right? You've been pushing so hard. um, Plan A, and it's not that everyone's going in with this huge ego. But it can be a ego thing, goal driven, that I have to do this. It can be society driven. It can be competition, right? Um, Plan C can feel like in the beginning, your ego says, well, you're settling for less. What are you doing? What's wrong with you, right? There is nothing wrong with you when Plan C, the last resort, ends up being where you land, if you will. So that letting go of those oars, allowing yourself to flow, you might end up at a beautiful place that you just didn't even know existed because you were pushing so far, so hard, right, to get to the other one. And what's interesting is once you're at Plan C for a while, not only do you start doing healing work yourself, your body starts healing, your mind starts healing, your spirit is healing. You're letting go of emotional baggage that you no longer need to carry around. You could also be letting go of physical stuff that has served its purpose in your life, and maybe it's time to just let it go and help another in some way. There's just a lot of different things, but you now all of a sudden you get into this position once you've done this healing, you become an observer. And what you start to notice is other people who are on Plan A, right? And you notice when Plan A shifts to Plan B, and the kind of turmoil someone goes through. Think of downshifting in a vehicle, right? So people, you shift up to get the higher speeds, but a downshift is not everybody always wants to do that, but we know it's necessary to maneuver through our human experience safely, right? And to take care of the vehicle. Well, our physical vessel is the vehicle for our spirit. So there are times when it is important to downshift, right? Think of natural aging, right? People downshift. Not only do they downshift, they often downsize. We have this period in our life where we are building up our life, and then we sit there for a while and we plateau and we do whatever. Or we could be like, what's next? And we're constantly striving, but to what end? And there comes a point where either people have like these moments where they can be tower moments where they're exhausted, or they have epiphanies where they start to see, I've pushed and pushed and pushed for all this, but this thing that I've been trying to get, it's not tangible. It isn't something we can touch. Hollow, right? It's like we believe that things can fill this innate desire that we have. But many of us understand too that it is the experience, right? It is the journey. So, for example, some people build businesses, but they don't stay in the business and work it. They build them, they create them, they understand the process. Is the fun in the creating. Go, okay, here I've built this, now you run it, right? I had fun in the creating of it, and but I don't want to maintain it, right? I don't want to go in every day and run that every single day. And so um, it's just asking yourself, where are you? Did you build something, and do you keep building, continuing to run all of it? Or, and then if you have to make changes and shifts, how it affects you. It does a number on you, right? Because you could pour your heart, energy, soul, and all this stuff into projects that you do, to what avail, right? And so, what we are seeking, and it comes to, there comes a place when what we are seeking is not really in the physical experience. However, but we are still here to have experiences. But that is our natural state. We build, we get to a place, we sit there for a while, and then we might choose to start downshifting or downsizing, right? Letting things go, realizing how fast we've been running. And sometimes when we are at that place for a long time and we are not choosing to start to downshift, if you will, the universe has a funny way of getting us to slow down one way or another. So it is recognizing, before the universe chooses for you, have I been going too fast? Have I been living on plan A and running at plan A? When people say type A personalities, right? Nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. But there comes a time when a type A personality can be so extremely hard on themselves, feeling like a failure if they downshift to plan B. But then there comes this epiphany. Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps. This awakening where it's like, all of a sudden, they used to care what people think, but now all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I just need to regain my strength, physical strength, whatever that is, mental strength. I need to call myself back in. And then they start feeling that. And then it's like they're sandwich situation, right? Now they're in this middle where they could choose to go back to plan A after they've rested, right? Or they could choose to downshift a little bit more into plan C. Think about people who set up, like, whatever, retirements. It's like this plan. They're pre-planning that, yeah, I'm going to work the plan. But sometimes if you're a type A personality and that plan isn't working like you planned, right? That's a ego thing. It could be an ego thing. It can be a lot of different things, right? But plan C isn't a bad thing. This is what I'm trying to say. Comfort, care, creation. So let's go ahead and start here with a deck called Self-Care. These cards are wisdom cards. Have goosebumps again just as I was thinking the words last resort. What I'd like to get you to consider is plan C actually the first resort? Is there a little hidden paradise that others, it's been there all along, and others bypass it because they're moving too fast? They don't see it. And that's also the other thing. We only see where our energy is at, right? What is in our awareness. So sure, there are times where we are vibrating extremely high, and we're manifesting all this stuff in, and we're going, and our energy is great. But there are times when we have been through it, and it's like, okay, so now I'm going to downshift to plan C. Do you have to stay in plan C forever? No. But it is a place to care for yourself, to do some self-care. So let's see what comes up. Okay, transforming tragedy, right? Okay, so this is one of those things that can throw a plan A from A to C, skipping B, going, what happened to B, right? What happened to level B? Just everything and shifted down because of an experience. transforming tragedy. The last resort, which actually ends up being the first resort in this case. Loss is a reminder that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received, right? More room in that resort. Because what happens, we get quieter, we start looking at ourselves, we start looking at our lives, we start allowing ourselves to be taken care of, capital C, right? What has happened in your life where that resort sounds really good? In our human experience, we literally might be looking for a resort to go to. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of these like spas and different things like that, right? But then there's always this looming gotta go back to real life, right? Possibly. Not, I mean, I don't want to say always. Sometimes 2 weeks is enough. But when you are dealing with something, a tragedy, it takes some deep healing and it takes a lot of time. And when even if you shifted to plan B, you might sit in plan B for a while and go, it's not here. It's not here. I need to shift to plan C. I need to downshift yet. I need to take a look at everything. I need to go deeper. I need to do some serious healing work here from the events that I have experienced in my life, right? How everything has affected me. I have to work with my emotions, right? I have to work with the body, the pain of the bodies. We have 4 bodies. We have the emotional body, the physical body, the spiritual body, and the mental body. So when we have something like this, we can have a number of dents or whatever you want to call it in each of our bodies that we have to spend time healing. Okay, what else do we have? Growing beyond guilt, right? It couldn't have happened any other way. Who's feeling guilty regarding a tragedy? It's time to anchor the light. It is actually in plan C, which can feel like the last resort, which ends up being the first resort. The light is always within me. And I find this really interesting because when we talk about anchoring the light, if we look at A, B, and C, let's say as A as really moving fast, being in like this spirit, B as I don't think that this is a good example. I have to backtrack with that. I'm sorry. Let's just take C as the earthly experience. All right. Let's just do that. All right. The physical experience. All right. So this is saying anchoring that light. Okay. If A is the light, I'm going to take the example of the tree. This is going to be the best way to explain this. The earth is C. B would be the tree trunk, right? Things moving through. And A would be this information, knowledge, energy, right? Such coming from a source. So it's here, like these trees in the background. It moves through the trunk. But this is about anchoring it into the human experience C, level C, right? So being called to anchor the light into your physical experience. Where can we do that? We start, right? We're anchoring the light that comes from uh, plan A, if you will, moving it through, settling into the trunk, and moving it through into basically our feet on the ground. We've got our feet on the ground. We are in our body more. We don't feel like we always have to be on the run, right? Outrunning ourselves. We don't feel like we always have to chase every idea that comes along. We can learn to be very present in our experience. We become an anchor of the light. The light moves through us and it emanates from us. Okay, on the bottom of the deck, we have expanding inner power. So this would be something about the subconscious. I am my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice, right? Expanding inner power. Creativity, comfort, care, right? It is when we start to take the time to do the healing work, creativity starts to move through us. We find a way to express the way we're feeling in one way or another. Okay, let's go ahead and go to a deck here called No, I'm going to use the Celestial Tarot deck. Let's see what's coming up. Whoop. You know, I'm looking at these words again about loss as a reminder that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received. So think about when you empty out a closet. I did this. There was, you know, a lot of things that I mean, I say a lot. It was a lot of things that I took out. And then I had a little bit of regret about some of it. But I was definitely feeling called to let go. Now, my closet was not totally empty. However, what happened is by emptying it, I made room for greater gifts to be received, right? Now, in the physical example, sure, there were other clothes or different things that came in like that, but we can have loss of a job. We can have the loss of a person. What are the greater gifts? I mean, that, you know, you really have to do some soul searching, some digging to see that, you know. In some situations it's really, really challenging. Okay, so let's see what comes up under that. Again, that says transforming tragedy. So let's just, what do you want to bring up about this? Okay, a Knight of Cups. Okay, so a way to transform tragedy. A Knight of Cups energy is someone who expresses themselves romantically, okay, through their heart. The cups represent emotions, and they come forth with an offer of some sort to someone. They come carrying forth an emotional offer, okay? So you may have someone who is moving towards you. Note that the Knight's hat has the feather on it, right? So it can definitely feel also like a very spiritual experience. This person transforming tragedy, the energy of the Knight of Cups is someone who could be a poet, who could write, right? Expressing themselves. So that could be one way for you to transform tragedy. This person could be an artist. Okay. Under the growing beyond guilt is a Page of Swords. Yeah, a younger energy. This is a younger energy. The Page of Swords is someone who is known to be watching someone, that um, watching someone. The swords speak of being in your thoughts and also the truth, right? A younger energy who is in their thoughts, growing beyond guilt. Okay, the next one that we have is anchoring the light, bringing the truth forward. Anchor the light into situations. This is the truth, right? Anchoring the light. Okay, tell us more about this Knight of Cups here and why this is here under transforming tragedy. This is transforming tragedy in a situation with heartbreak, right? Could have been a third-party situation where somebody has hurt someone, right, that caused a tragedy. Caused a tragedy regarding a Page of Swords energy. Okay, the next one we have is growing beyond guilt. This is the Nine of Pentacles, where someone is just kind of standing in their power, like they've earned their income, they're just living their life, they're living it well, they're okay, they're growing beyond guilt, and they're okay financially. Okay, under anchoring the light and the Ace of Swords, why is this here? Okay, we have the Seven of Cups. So this is saying there are many choices in front of you, okay? And you can feel confused. It can feel overwhelming. Have you ever been on the internet and you ask a question and for that one question, there's just multiple answers. And so you have to weed through them. These cups may all be full of things that interest you. But it's saying be aware of this. And the cups, again, represent emotion. So there could be people that are interested in you. These could be things that you are interested in, like experiencing, loves of the heart, if you will, right? But you're being encouraged to find your truth and to anchor your light into whatever you do. On the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Wands energy. The King of Wands, again, represents creativity, someone who is an action taker. They are very passionate. And I find that interesting because it goes hand in hand with the other card that was pulled for the subconscious, which is, I am the most powerful when my creativity is given a voice, expanding in power, right? So there's definitely an underlying current here that's saying, get creative, stay in your creativity. And that's how, like, it's not about an ego power kick, but it just seems to happen naturally as you continue to express yourself through creativity. I found this the other day and I just thought it was so beautiful. It says some people look for a beautiful place and others make a place beautiful, right? So that really poses that question. Are you expressing your creativity in some form or manner to bring beauty to other places? Now, what is beauty? So for some people, it is the beauty for what we see, right? Through the physical world, through colors and whatever. Some people bring beautiful experiences, right? Some people like create beautiful foods, if you will. So some people look to go to places, say, that present beautiful foods. So if you've ever been on a cruise, right, they always do all these really fun, beautiful, fancy designs with like fruit and different things like that. But again, I'm going to just reread that. Some people look for a beautiful place, others make a place beautiful. And I think that in our lives, we have strengths in certain areas and other areas we don't. And this is like seeing the beauty in everyone else's strengths, right? And yet still appreciating our own without ego running the show, if you will. It's like, I love to create beautiful things. It makes me feel good to express myself or my emotions through creation. And whatever I create then causes emotions in others to feel some sort of way. So think about people that go to certain restaurants because they want to have that experience of certain food presented in a certain manner, or they go to certain shops, or they go to certain speakers because they would like to feel a certain way. They might go to a concert because they want to feel the energy of that, or certain places around the globe, right? Okay, I'm being called to split this deck. It's interesting that I said around the globe. This Two of Wands is like, it speaks about partnership in some sort. And it's in creativity, right? So there might be someone that would like to work with you, especially as I said that, like around the globe. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit further. I've only used this deck a couple times. I really don't remember what these cards are about, but let's see what comes up. It's called Mind Info Oracle Cards. What messages do you have here for the collective? Expand. I did use these cards, I don't know, maybe within the last week, and this card did come up. You are being asked to expand. You live in a huge world with endless possibilities, and staying safe in the known is no longer working for you. It's time to make your world just a little bit bigger. It is time to imagine the possibilities and to go for them. Okay, so now I want to take this idea of the last resort. Now it's like, okay, I'm choosing your perspective, or thought perspective might be, I'm choosing the first resort, or I'm expanding from C, right? Plan C. I'm going to at least expand to plan B. I'm going to expand some. Think of the lotus flower that goes underneath the water each night, and then every day it regrows up towards the sun. But we can close in on ourselves like flowers, right? And how long will we remain dormant? How long will we be in hidden paradise, right? How long will we stay at that hidden, the hidden paradise, or that last resort, if you will, plan C. It, like I said, we don't have to stay there forever, but it is there where we have a lot of great healing that happens. But then there's this time where you're like, I'm feeling ready. I'm ready to take a step forward. I'm ready to do something different, to have a different experience, to meet new people, a new person, to travel somewhere different, right? So this calls me to expand in some form or manner. It's like we put our feet on the ground now, and we take one step forward towards our plan. Whatever we have, maybe we've reevaluated that plan A when we were in plan C. Okay, let's see what else comes up. Under growing beyond guilt. Wow, this is so interesting. Let it go. And we have a woman here who is letting go of a dove, right? Peace. You're being asked to let go of whatever pain and resentment you have been holding on to. It's hurting you, and you can't fully be present in your life if you are holding on to this negativity. Release it and be free. Wow. I read something today in a book that basically spoke about this. So it's like the second message. Growing beyond guilt. It's time to let something go. It's time to stop. You know, hidden paradise can look like hiding, running away from, or it can look like total and complete surrender and healing. And then when you're there, it's like, okay, this is a place where I've done a lot of healing work. I've done self reflection. I've done inner child healing. I've done shadow work. I've done all these things. Now it's time to let go and to start moving back out, expanding. Okay? Expand and contract. Think about the birthing process, our breathing, right? So I'm just going to show you this card, but I'm not going to use it. This card is a card that is for a layout for a reading, and it says you versus them, blockages, advice, and outcome. That's what came up here. You versus them. I feel like I'm going to pick that out another day and do another reading with that. But we're going to just keep going. I mean, that might be something that, you know, has been this thing about transforming tragedy. What has caused blockages? Because remember, again, we had this heartbreak, this situation, you versus them. Has it caused blockages? What is the advice and the outcome? Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to just take another one for anchoring that light. Celebrate. You are being asked to celebrate recent accomplishments, no matter how big or small. Do something special to commemorate the moment. You deserve that and so much more, right? What little things do you do to celebrate, whether they're small victories, right? And so sometimes I think if we don't make like the written plan, but we maybe have an idea in our mind or in our heart, you know, whether they're mini goals or bigger goals, right? We're being called to expand, but this is still saying, okay, do you make short-term plans? What's your daily plan? Your weekly plan, your monthly plan, right? Your yearly plan, the 5-year plan, whatever that is. But whatever they are, you've had some recent accomplishments and you are being encouraged to celebrate them in some way. Do something special to commemorate the moment, right? Okay, on the bottom of the deck, we have give, okay? One of the best feelings we can experience is giving to others. And when we do so, we feel lifted up and our lives improve greatly because of someone else's happiness. Think of one way you can give to another today. Before though, I like to go 3, if I can, on this deck, or when I'm on the bottom of the deck. We have pause, which would also speak of the last resort that you may not want to go to, but you realize, wow, it's caused a pause in my life. You're being asked to pause before making quick decisions and moving forward. Allow yourself to step back, look at all the possible outcomes, and make sure you are heading in the right direction before moving forward. Pause before really just jumping in and choosing quickly without a whole lot of thought. Allow yourself to step back. When we are in plan A and we are running plan A and we are working plan A and we are moving fast and going fast and it might seem like we are tuned in. You could say narrow-minded. We've got our eye on the target, right? But there's a lot that's going on out here, right? There's a lot that is going on out here. And so when you are planning and that is all you are focused on, what are you missing, right? Allow yourself to step back to become an observer of what else is going on around you, right? Look at all of the possible outcomes and make sure you are heading in the right direction before moving forward. Think about these paths that have the signs that point in multiple directions, right? Which would kind of look like this. Which path are you going to take? Are you just going to take one? Or are you going to slow down a little and consider carefully? You're also being asked to focus at this time. You're being asked to shift your focus away from what isn't working, which could be plan A, and toward what is. Pay extra attention to where you place your focus. Paying extra attention to where you place your focus is the first step toward creating an amazing life. What are you focusing on? Okay. What are you focusing on? And then recognizing it, becoming self-aware of it, because you took time to pause to say, what have I been focusing on? That oftentimes will look like the winter season of our life. We reflect where we've been, what's going on in our life, and what shifts do we want to make in our life as we continue to move forward. Okay, so we are going to wrap this message up. Oh, I've got two more decks here. Sorry, this little one. Well, hold on. Let's go to Ask and It Will Happen. And I find that to be the perfect deck as we look at this focus, right? Again, ask and it will happen. So what messages do we have here? Where energy flows, energy goes. That's what I was just speaking on here. What do we focus on? Whatever we focus on gets bigger. If there is something in our life that is not resonating with us anymore, the words that are coming to us, back away, I don't know, there's more words to that, but back away, right? Start stepping away from whatever. Step away from it and step towards what you want to expand, right? Step towards what you would like to expand. Step back from that which you want to dissipate. Let your feelings help you recognize the divine within every living thing, including yourself. Now, this is your feelings. It's not your thoughts. It's checking in with yourself regularly. Does this feel good? Does this feel authentic to me right now in this moment? Does this resonate with my spirit right now in this moment? Okay, the next one is crank up the volume. We have music here. So that could be a way of helping you to let things go, let out stagnant energy, growing beyond guilt. If you feel stuck, have emotions that are stuck, music can have a way of doing that. Listen to some songs that maybe you don't always listen to, but anyway, they can shift your energy. They can help you release blockages through tears, through whatever that is. But also I want to say, as this came up with this expression, right? Like someone is coming in who may be very expressive. Sound and music are great gifts. Playing and listening to feel-good music will change how your day turns out. That doesn't mean to necessarily start your day with music, because having space and time each morning helps you know where you are, um, helps you let go of things that aren't serving you, to clear instead of constantly taking in and taking in and taking in. It's like, okay, I am processing what I've already taken in. I'm releasing, I'm filtering through, and I'm releasing what no longer works for me. I'm healing past pains. I'm letting go of regrets and fear and shame, right? This one says letting go of guilt, or growing beyond guilt. So those quiet times are essential for part of your healing. But using music to say, okay, maybe you will have patterns of, you leave the home or whatever that is, or you have a quiet time at home, and then you have music on for a period of time to raise your vibration up and to shift how your day turns out, to crank up the volume. Okay, and let's go one more here. We have recognize what is right for you. Recognize what is right for you. Okay, again, that falls with that card about you, them, blockages, advice, but also under this, recognize what is right for you out of all these choices. So sometimes when we have a lot of choices, if you had to write 7 columns because you have 7 choices in front of you, and say what aligns with my spirit, what doesn't, it will help you to thin this out, to not feel so overwhelmed, to help recognize what is right for you. Allow your vibration to rise every day by doing what feels good. Enjoy yourself. The key word here is feels, not what you think. Think of to-do lists and such like that. I think I this. I think I need to do this. I think. But, this is about leaning into your heart and saying, this is how I'm feeling right now. So if your body is tired, honor it and rest. If your body is energetic, honor and rest, or honor that, right? Okay, we're going to take just a couple more cards here from the Fairy Dust Oracle. Let's see what comes through here. Friends, all the love your light extends, its reflection shows in chosen friends. Who are your chosen friends, right? Again, that falls under the area of expanding and transforming tragedy. So having friends help you get through tragedy, whether that is, heart situation, whatever that is, you're being called to expand. The next one we have is rose quartz crystal, which is about healing the heart. Okay, soothing and warm like love that flows. Once under your pillow, your magic grows. Rose quartz crystal. Interesting that it again falls under growing beyond guilt and let it go. It's heart healing. This rose, the pink, is about healing. Okay. And the next card we have is rain. It says, rain, rain comes today. Let all of your troubles wash away, right? We're anchoring in the light. We're allowing our vibration to rise every day because we are doing what feels good and what resonates with our soul. Anything that doesn't resonate with us, we are allowing to wash away. And so you can hear I'm being called. Anyway, that is the message for today. I want to say thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful, hopeful, and healing for you in all ways. Take care.